All right, the Switch 2's all set up. Time to play some game. Oh, right. The internet. The whole reason you can watch this video in the first place. The Switch 2 is out, and we're certainly gaming, Mario Karting, and spending our hard-earned cash like it's going out of style. The console is great, and I'm sure we're all enjoying our time with it. But there's one add-on to the Nintendo Switch 2 experience that some feel is almost a requirement for the console, and that is Nintendo Switch Online. That's right, the $20 a year service, or $50 if you get the expansion pass, is still kicking even on a new console, and it's more relevant than ever. We talked about Switch Online before, as we mentioned how it was a must-have for the original Switch 1. So if you want to see that video, be sure to take a look at it in the description below. But this time, I want to explore if Nintendo Switch Online is just as worth it for a new console fresh off of launch. So, is the online service just as impactful and important for the Nintendo Switch 2? Or will this program make you want to go back to the Stone Age? Let's find out. Let's just get this one out of the way right now. The original $20 a year tier in 2025, is it worth it for the Nintendo Switch 2? Well, the answer may surprise you. Yes! Let's go back to when Switch Online started in 2018, where you started to pay for online functions, a few NES games, and maybe Tetris 99 if you waited long enough. That doesn't sound like a lot even for the first year. But now with the Switch 2, that drip feeding method that Nintendo tried is not happening here. Well, not for everything anyway. You get online functionality for all games, a full lineup of NES and SNES titles, a decent selection of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, free games like Tetris 99 and F-Zero 99, backup cloud saves just in case anything happens to your console, access to exclusive trials, and Nintendo Music included. That's a lot! The cost more than makes up for the value. A lot of the availability that grew over time with the last console is just there now day one. So anyone starting out with a Switch 2, or anyone who immediately upgraded like myself, gets all of them as soon as they pay. It's more than worth it, especially after considering how far Switch Online has come. The libraries for Switch Online games got rebranded to being called Nintendo Classics, by the way, which I prefer. You have so much to choose from that makes the subscription more than worth it. Plus, the safety of your backups being stored and all the other additional perks make it a day one purchase in mind. Something I recommend for every Switch 2 owner. And then there's the big new feature for Nintendo Switch 2 Online, the Gamechat. Yes, this Discord clone allows you to chat with friends while streaming gameplay. It's Nintendo's newest feature, and for a limited time, it doesn't cost a thing. That is, until March 2026, when you will need the Nintendo Switch Online to use it. So on one hand, it does suck that to use a button on the controller, you'll need to pay $20 a year. But on the other hand, as said before, the $20 a year is more than worth it. So I feel that if you already want the basic feature of online, you're going to get Gamechat anyways. And how does the Gamechat function? The Gamechat alone is a pretty decent service. The ability to talk it up with your friends while playing games, add on a decent microphone too thanks to the console, it's a great service for what it is. Sure, compared to Discord with your high-quality microphones, it's not the same. And if you have the camera, the video chat honestly isn't the greatest. But you don't need the camera to chat. And for a voice call that doesn't require an external mic, it's pretty good for the average Nintendo fan. Overall, it's kinda crazy how much the value has been upped for the $20 basic tier. And you know what they just announced with Donkey Kong Bonanza? You can actually share the game with a second player through Gamechat. That's actually really cool, and it justifies the service a bit more, especially if it saves a friend from having to buy a $70 game. Who knows if other games work with Gamechat like this? I kinda hope they do. Including all the stuff mentioned, it's a great deal for everything. I'd even dare to call it a steal. You're going to pay for online anyway, and you're getting the $20 back in spades. more than worth it. But that's not the only tier, is it? There's an entire online expansion tier to consider as well. For $50 a year, you get a lot more services, but I feel its value is a lot more debatable and circumstantial. Let's start with the Nintendo Classics perks. With the online expansion, you get Nintendo 64 games, Game Boy Advance games, Sega Genesis games, and now GameCube games, which exclusively works with Switch 2. They've also built up their libraries, but since these are larger games, we're getting updates a lot less frequently with these guys. I think they're going for quality over quantity here. However, the smallest library for sure are the GameCube games, which only features 3 games at the time of this recording: Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX. Definitely a smaller library here, but like I said, you get more quality games. Still, I'm not a fan of Nintendo's drip feeding, and it really stinks that they are doing it again with GameCube. Like, just have more of them ready, for crying out loud. I scared my dog. I'm sure a year from now, more GameCube games will be available, and 3 are certainly better than none. But what else do we get for this $50 tier? Well, you get access to DLCs. But only certain ones. Yes, instead of paying for DLCs individually, a few of them are included with Nintendo Switch Online expansion. These DLCs are Animal Crossing Happy Home Paradise, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, and Splatoon 2 Octo expansion. These DLCs are good to have, but I do have a problem that these are the only DLCs you can get. There's quite a few that have been left out. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3 DLC, Splatoon 3 Side Order DLC, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, even Breath of the Wild's DLC with Master Mode isn't included or part of this expansion. And I find it silly that it's being so selective. Why not have everything bundled in? Wouldn't that make more sense and increase the value of the expansion pass? It always seems strange why they would be so inconsistent and add a few DLCs and then just stop afterwards. Or at least that's how I used to feel until they decided to add more to the expansion pass. It only took another console, about time. While not DLCs, for the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, they decided to add Switch 2 upgrade packs for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. While each game upgrade would normally cost $10 each, you get the visual upgrade with better performance for the price of a goose egg with that expansion tier. Honestly, this is a great reason to get the expansion. A lot of people don't want to spend the extra money for upgraded versions of games they already own, and if they already have a higher subscription, it just makes sense to grab these options. These two run fantastically on the Switch 2 as well, making it more than worth the money. The biggest issue so far is that these two games are the only Switch 2 upgrades available if you get the service. Sure, there's only a few more Switch upgrades announced, Super Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby in the Forgotten Land, but it certainly would make the service more enticing for Switch 2 players if it was all just included, especially since these guys are going to be $20 more each, as they include DLCs along with their upgrades. So it would be nice if they just came with the $50 a year purchase. But alas, it's not meant to be. Well, despite all my complaints, the lack of GameCube games, the lack of DLCs, and even only having 2 Switch 2 upgrades, I still think with everything that the $50 tier is worth it. At least a little. You do get quite a lot of bang for your buck, with tons of games to play, a library of older titles, and 2 upgrades of extremely huge Zelda games. Compared that to when the expansion packs first started, and we have come a long way as well. It's so much of a value that I have to ask a question that a lot of people probably don't want to ask. I don't even want to ask it, but I feel the question is on everyone's mind. When are they gonna raise the price? It's not that big of a reach either. What if they add Wii games or DS games to the service? What if they add more DLCs or Switch 2 upgrade packs? It's not out of the realm of possibility that the $20 and $50 tiers will increase, or more likely, that they will add a third tier, like a $75 a year tier, or even $100 a year tier. I wouldn't want them to change the price, but let's be honest, if they did increase the price, I know a lot of people, including myself, would probably reluctantly buy it, because it usually would mean some added value to it, even if they did drip feed the value again. It stinks, and it may even be a bit anti-consumer, but it's a very real possibility. And because of this, I'm going to remind people of a way they can save money with Nintendo Switch Online, one that applies no matter what console you have. The only thing is, though, you need friends. Yes, I am referring to the Family Pack, which sure costs $80 a year for the expansion pack, but it gives you a membership of up to 8 people in your family group. And not everyone has to be immediate family. My family group consists of myself, my girlfriend, some immediate family, and even some close friends from around the world. And we all split it by contributing $10 a year. It truly is a great way to split the costs while making sure everyone has the perks that Switch Online has to offer. It's a method I've been using for years, especially since Nintendo had an offer to give you extra gold points if you did create a family group in the past. Rest in peace, gold points. How I miss you so. And those are my thoughts on Switch Online for Nintendo Switch 2. You don't technically need them, but I feel like you're missing out on some benefits if you don't at least get the $20 tier. And in my opinion, both tiers are pretty much worth the money. The $20 a year service feels like a requirement, with how much value it packs in and how you need it for a majority of the games, while the $50 value, which is a little bit more specific to one's taste, still has a lot of bang for your buck. So much so that I wouldn't be surprised if there was a price hike in the next year or two. Regardless, if you just got your Nintendo Switch 2 and are even remotely interested in getting Switch Online, please do yourself a favor and invest in at least the $20 tier. You'll be able to play games online, chat with friends, and have a respectable library of games at your fingertips. Nintendo Switch 2 Online is truly worth every penny. Well, that may be another $50 out of my pocket, but at least I can play Splatoon. You know what? Maybe I should just live in a cabin in the woods. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and check out my other videos too. Special thanks to all my Patreon patrons, including Mantelferox, Blue Rage 03, and Savacom. And an extra special thanks to everybody who helped me out with the video. I couldn't have done it without all of you. If you'd like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description below, along with my Blue Sky, Twitch, and Instagram. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night.